economy seems to be into made the transition from a snapback recovery to a true self-sustaining recovery, and that's big news, and that's a big development. And I think stocks can go up another 10 or 15% with that background? Yeah, I do.
In some ways, how can you be optimistic when the American consumer accounts for 70% of the U.S. economy?
Well, I'm going to be optimistic because the American consumer seems to have an incredible ability to keep spending even when its real income is not growing as fast as its spending is. But you know, I'm not by any means thinking that the U.S. economy is back on a 4% trend line growth path. I think we're 2.5 to 3 over the next 5 years, and for exactly that reason, because the consumer is very extended. But that doesn't mean that at current valuations, where the U.S. is selling at about 13 times this year's earnings, and that's using the IBEST numbers, and the IBEST analysts are probably still too conservative about how good what the earnings are going to be, and I think the S&P can earn $100 a share this year, and so in an environment where things seem to be improving, and where the 10-year Treasury bond sells at 4.5%, and inflation is 2%, and the central bank is flooding the system with liquidity. Can stocks sell at 15 times earnings? Yeah, I think they can. And so I think we can make it. It's not inconceivable, with a little luck and no more black birds floating around, that we can get up in the 1500 area.
Well, what about Bill Gross at PIMCO saying a couple of weeks ago the U.S. is in a debt trap, and that our payments are bigger than our revenues? Does that make you pessimistic at all?
Yeah, I mean, look, Bill Gross has these spasms from time to time, but yeah, I mean, Bill Gross. And I sort of agree with Bill Gross is new normal, but everybody else seems to agree with the new normal too, which makes me skeptical about it. And after all, the S&P 500 and those companies, 53% of their earnings now come from outside the U.S. So our principle, we're talking about the S&P 500. So it isn't really a pure. It's not an American index exclusively. It's really an international index dominated by 100 big multinational companies that have large capitalizations.